Have you ever wondered, as we age, should we live close to our children for their care? Or should we choose to live independently for personal freedom? This question isn't just about lifestyle choices. It dives deep into themes of family connection, independence, and the meaning of happiness in our later years. In today's video, we will explore this thought-provoking topic through cultural, philosophical, and real-life lenses, enriched by Buddhist teachings and contemporary realities. Living together as an extended family under one roof is a cultural hallmark in many Eastern societies, particularly in Vietnam and other parts of Asia. This practice, deeply intertwined with familial values and traditions, has shaped not only the structure of households but also the dynamics of relationships across generations. The concept of multi-generational living is more than just a pragmatic arrangement. It reflects profound cultural beliefs about respect, responsibility, and interconnectedness. In the East, the family unit is often considered the cornerstone of society. Elders are revered not just for their age but for the wisdom, experience, and stability they bring to the household. The arrangement where multiple generations live together under one roof is seen as an embodiment of familial harmony and mutual support. The notion of "for generations under one roof" is more than just a logistical solution for housing. It is a symbolic representation of familial fortune. This ideal encapsulates a vision of life where grandparents, parents, children, and sometimes even great-grandchildren coexist, forming a tightly knit community bound by blood, shared traditions, and mutual care. In such households, elders are often regarded as the cornerstone of family wisdom. Their presence is seen as a blessing, their experiences valued, and their advice sought in matters of significance. This living arrangement ensures that cultural traditions, values, and knowledge are passed down seamlessly through generations. Stories from the past come alive in daily conversations, and younger generations grow up with a profound sense of identity and belonging. Elders are not passive recipients of care. They are active contributors to the household. Their roles extend beyond simply being present. They are the moral compass, the guardians of family rituals, and often the peacemakers in times of conflict. Through storytelling and mentorship, elders guide younger members in navigating ethical dilemmas, making sound decisions, and understanding the nuances of human relationships. Elders act as the custodians of cultural and familial traditions, ensuring that these values are preserved and celebrated. In a world that often feels chaotic, their presence provides a sense of continuity and stability, acting as a calming influence on the household. While multi-generational living comes with its own set of challenges, its benefits often outweigh the difficulties, especially when viewed through the lens of collective well-being and familial bonds. One of the most evident advantages of living together is the closeness it fosters. This arrangement allows for daily interactions, shared responsibilities, and a natural flow of support that benefits everyone in the household. Grandparents often take on the role of secondary caregivers for young children, providing not just supervision but also emotional warmth and wisdom that only elders can offer. Their involvement not only eases the burden on working parents but also enriches the lives of grandchildren. Conversely, adult children offer physical, emotional, and financial support to their aging parents, ensuring they live with dignity and comfort in their later years. Daily interactions among family members foster deep connections that go beyond surface-level relationships. Living together creates opportunities for meaningful conversations, shared meals, and collective celebrations, all of which strengthen the family's emotional fabric. Constant exposure to the diverse perspectives within a family teaches empathy and understanding. Children learn to appreciate the struggles of their elders, while parents gain insight into the dreams and challenges of the. Living under one roof naturally encourages open dialogue and frequent communication, helping to resolve conflicts more efficiently and foster a sense of unity. The shared experiences that arise from living together, be it celebrating festivals, supporting one another during hardships, or simply spending quiet evenings together create lasting memories that bind the family closer. To fully appreciate the traditional perspective of multi-generational living, it's important to recognize its roots in a deeply communal worldview. In Eastern philosophy, the individual is not seen as an isolated entity but as an integral part of a larger family and social network. This contrasts sharply with the more individualistic perspective prevalent in many Western cultures. In Confucian thought, which heavily influences Eastern cultures, filial piety, the respect and care for one's parents and elders, is considered a cardinal virtue. Living together as a family is viewed as the ultimate expression of this value, reflecting love, gratitude, and reverence for those who raised us. The happiness of the family unit often takes precedence over individual desires. Sacrifices are made willingly for the greater good, and personal achievements are celebrated as collective triumphs. While the positives of multi-generational living are numerous, it's not without its challenges. Balancing the needs and preferences of different generations requires patience, communication, and a willingness to compromise. As society evolves, so do family dynamics. Younger generations are often influenced by modern lifestyles and values that may differ from traditional norms. This requires families to find common ground and adapt to each other's evolving needs. While living together fosters closeness, it's equally important for individuals within the household to maintain a sense of personal autonomy. Striking this balance ensures that relationships remain healthy and respectful. In today's world, where the pace of life is faster and the demands on individuals are greater, the traditional model of living together is being reimagined. Modern families are finding innovative ways to preserve the essence of multi-generational living while addressing contemporary challenges. Homes are being designed with multi-generational living in mind, featuring separate living quarters for elders that allow for both togetherness and privacy. For families that can't physically live together, technology serves as a bridge, enabling regular communication and emotional closeness despite geographical distances. Ultimately, the traditional perspective on multi-generational living offers a timeless lesson. The value of family goes beyond mere convenience. It is about creating a sanctuary where love, respect, and mutual support thrive. While modern realities may necessitate changes in how we live, the core principle of familial unity remains as relevant today as ever. As families navigate the complexities of modern life, the wisdom embedded in traditional practices serves as a guiding light, reminding us of the enduring strength found in togetherness. Whether it's under one roof or across different homes, the heart of the matter lies in the connections we nurture and the bonds we cherish. The question of whether older adults should live with their children or opt for independent living is more complex than ever. In the modern world, where individual lifestyles are diverse and societal expectations are evolving, multi-generational living comes with its own set of challenges and opportunities. These realities often force families to reconsider traditional norms, balancing the benefits of proximity with the freedom and independence that separate living arrangements can offer. One of the most significant hurdles in multi-generational living today is the clash between traditional and modern lifestyles. Elders often have deeply ingrained habits and routines shaped by decades of practice. They may prefer quiet mornings, structured days, and activities that reflect their generation's values. On the other hand, younger family members, immersed in a world of fast-paced technology and evolving social norms, may prioritize spontaneity, late nights, and less rigid schedules. This generational gap can manifest in everyday scenarios. Parents may expect communal dinners and quiet evenings, while younger adults may prefer eating on the go or staying up late working or socializing online. Discrepancies in parenting styles often become a source of tension, especially when grandparents offer unsolicited advice or try to enforce their methods. The younger generation, accustomed to personal freedom and private spaces, may struggle with the constant presence of elders who value shared time and interaction. Such differences, while natural, can lead to misunderstandings or even resentment if not carefully managed. Urbanization and rising costs of living exacerbate the logistical challenges of multi-generational households. In cities, where space is often at a premium, fitting multiple generations under one roof can feel claustrophobic. Small apartments or homes with limited bedrooms and shared common areas can lead to frustration for all family members. Lack of space can mean shared bedrooms, restricted personal zones, and a general feeling of being on top of each other. This is particularly difficult for younger adults who crave independence and elders who need peace and quiet. Adding elders to a household can increase expenses, from food and utilities to medical care. For families already struggling with high rents or mortgages, this added financial burden can create tension. Psychological dependence. Living together can blur boundaries between independence and dependence. Parents, who may have once enjoyed autonomy, might feel a loss of control over their daily lives when living with their children. Simple choices, such as deciding what to eat or how to spend their day, can feel dictated by the younger household members. Conversely, adult children often face the weight of responsibility, feeling pressure to care for their parents while managing their own careers, relationships, and parenting duties. This dynamic can lead to feelings of guilt, frustration, and burnout. While multi-generational living has its merits, the modern world has made independent living for seniors a viable and often preferable alternative. The benefits of living separately allow both parents and children to maintain healthy boundaries and foster stronger relationships based on mutual respect. For many seniors, moving out of their children's homes doesn't equate to abandonment. Instead, it represents an opportunity to regain autonomy. Seniors can establish routines, pursue hobbies, and make decisions without worrying about disrupting the lives of others. They can eat what they want, decorate their space, and live according to their preferences. Living apart eliminates the feeling of being an imposition, which many parents silently grapple with when staying in their children's homes. Physical separation can serve as a buffer that prevents everyday annoyances from spiraling into significant conflicts. Minor irritations, whether it's differing opinions on household cleanliness, parenting, or social habits, are far easier to manage when the interactions are less frequent and more intentional. Instead of being mired in daily disagreements, families often find that time spent together is more cherished and meaningful when it's occasional. Visits become an opportunity to reconnect, celebrate, and create positive memories. Separate living arrangements encourage parents and children to focus on their own lives, fostering respect and reducing the risk of overstepping emotional or personal boundaries. For seniors, living separately often leads to improved well-being. Modern options like senior living communities, retirement homes, or even independent apartments tailored for older adults provide environments where they can thrive. Communities designed for seniors foster camaraderie, providing opportunities to connect with peers, join clubs, and engage in social activities that combat loneliness. Many senior living options include recreational programs, exercise classes, and cultural events, ensuring that residents remain active and engaged. Specialized facilities often provide medical care, nutritional support, and assistance with daily activities, relieving the family of caregiving stress. As the realities of modern life reshape traditional family structures, the question isn't about whether multi-generational living is better or worse. Instead, it's about adapting to circumstances that respect the needs of both parents and children. Families can explore hybrid models, such as parents living in nearby homes or apartments, which allow for regular visits without the constraints of shared living spaces. Open discussions about expectations, boundaries, and financial contributions can help ease the transition. Whether living together or apart, the decision to live together or apart doesn't have to be a permanent one. Families can revisit their arrangements as needs evolve, ensuring that both generations feel supported and valued. What remains constant is the importance of fostering love, understanding, and mutual respect, whether under one roof or in separate homes. In today's world, living arrangements may be changing, but the bond between parents and children remains as strong as ever, whether through proximity or independence. The goal is the same: to create a harmonious relationship that enriches the lives of everyone involved. Buddhist philosophy provides timeless insights into the complexities of family dynamics, offering a path to balance between independence and connection. These principles guide us to navigate generational relationships with grace, fostering harmony without compromising personal autonomy. At its heart, Buddhism encourages us to approach life with mindfulness, compassion, and an understanding of impermanence, qualities that are particularly relevant when addressing the question of whether elders should live with their children or independently. The Buddha's teaching, "Each of us must walk our own path," captures the essence of independence. This principle doesn't advocate for isolation or detachment, but highlights the importance of self-reliance and self-discovery as fundamental to personal growth and inner peace. For elders, this idea serves as a gentle reminder that independence isn't about rejecting familial bonds, but about fostering a life of dignity and self-sufficiency. In many cultures, there's an unspoken assumption that as people age, they naturally become dependent on their children. This belief, while often well-intentioned, can place undue pressure on both generations. For elders, relying excessively on children may inadvertently strip them of their sense of autonomy and purpose. Decisions about daily life, finances, and even leisure activities may no longer be their own, leading to feelings of helplessness. For children, bearing the responsibility of care can sometimes feel overwhelming, especially when juggling careers, parenting, and personal aspirations. By embracing independence, elders can alleviate this burden, creating a more balanced and respectful dynamic. Buddhism teaches that true independence begins in the mind. It encourages elders to cultivate mindfulness, focusing on their inner world rather than external circumstances. Living simply, practicing contentment with what one has can reduce the need for material or emotional dependence. Elders can find joy in small, meaningful routines, gardening, meditation, or connecting with nature, releasing control. Letting go of the desire to manage or influence their children's lives can be liberating. By stepping back, they allow their children to grow and make their own choices, fostering mutual respect. Compassion is the cornerstone of Buddhist teachings, and it serves as a bridge between generational divides. Whether living together or apart, family members can cultivate harmony by approaching one another with empathy, understanding, and kindness. Conflict often arises when family members fail to see things from one another's perspectives. Parents may feel unappreciated, while children may feel overwhelmed or misunderstood. The Buddhist practice of karuna, compassion, involves stepping into another person's shoes to understand their struggles. For parents, recognize that your children are navigating their own challenges, from career pressures to raising their own families. Offer support without judgment or expectation. For children, understand that aging parents may fear irrelevance, loneliness, or loss of control. Approach them with patience and reassurance. Buddhism emphasizes metta, loving kindness, the practice of extending goodwill to all beings. Simple acts, listening without interrupting, offering a kind word, or sharing a meal can strengthen familial bonds. Daily rituals. Families can establish small traditions, such as regular phone calls or weekend visits, to maintain connection regardless of living arrangements. Conflict resolution. Compassionate communication, focused on mutual understanding rather than blame, can dissolve even long-standing disagreements. Family relationships are often marked by past grievances. The Buddhist principle of kshama, forgiveness, reminds us to let go of resentment and focus on the present. Forgive freely. Holding on to grudges only perpetuates suffering. Letting go allows relationships to heal and flourish. Seek reconciliation. Honest, open conversations about past hurts can pave the way for deeper understanding and renewed trust. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the concept of anicca, or impermanence. It reminds us that life is in constant flux. Relationships, circumstances, and even living arrangements will inevitably change. For elders, embracing this truth can be a source of liberation rather than fear. Attachment to specific outcomes, whether it's living with children, maintaining control, or preserving a particular lifestyle, can be a source of suffering. Buddhism encourages us to release these attachments and accept life as it unfolds. Accepting change, instead of clinging to the past or fearing the future. Elders can focus on making the most of the present moment, adapting gracefully life's transitions, such as moving to a retirement community or downsizing a home, can be seen not as losses but as opportunities for new experiences and personal growth. Impermanence doesn't mean despair. It's an invitation to cherish what we have while it lasts. Elders can find joy in the simple pleasures of daily life, time spent with loved ones, the beauty of nature, or the serenity of solitude. Mindful presence. Practicing mindfulness helps elders stay anchored in the present, appreciating each moment without dwelling on regrets or anxieties. Celebrating relationships, whether living together or apart. Every interaction with family is an opportunity to express love and gratitude, preparing for life's transitions. Impermanence also extends to the ultimate transition, the end of life. Buddhist teachings encourage elders to face this reality with courage and equanimity. Spiritual reflection. Contemplating life's impermanence can inspire elders to focus on what truly matters: kindness, connection, and inner peace. Creating legacy. By sharing stories, wisdom, and values, elders can leave a lasting impact on their families without the need for physical proximity. Weaving philosophy into everyday life. Buddhist philosophy isn't abstract. It offers practical tools for navigating real-life challenges. Here's how elders and their families can apply these teachings to create a harmonious balance. Mindful living spaces. If living together, design spaces that respect individual autonomy and privacy. If living apart, maintain regular contact to nurture emotional closeness. Shared practices. Families can engage in mindfulness activities together, such as meditation, yoga, or even a simple gratitude ritual. These shared moments deepen connections while fostering peace. A culture of compassion. Encourage family members to openly express appreciation, resolve conflicts compassionately, and support each other's growth. Mrs. Lon, a 70-year-old widow, had always envisioned spending her later years living with her son and his family. However, after moving in, she found herself feeling out of place. Her traditional routines clashed with her son's modern lifestyle, and small disagreements began to erode their relationship. After much reflection, Mrs. Lon decided to move into a small apartment nearby. Initially, she worried this might strain their bond, but the opposite happened. With space to live independently, Mrs. Lon found renewed joy in her hobbies and joined a local meditation group. Her relationship with her son improved as their time together became more intentional and less strained. Mrs. Lan's story illustrates that independence doesn't weaken family ties. It can strengthen them when paired with compassion and acceptance of life's impermanence. Buddhist philosophy teaches that the key to harmony lies in balancing autonomy with connection, independence with compassion, and acceptance with effort, whether families choose to live together or apart. These principles offer a roadmap to navigate the complexities of aging and relationships with grace and wisdom. Ultimately, what matters most isn't the physical distance between family members, but the emotional closeness and mutual respect that bridge the gaps. Through mindfulness, compassion, and a deep understanding of impermanence, families can create bonds that endure and thrive across the inevitable changes of life. Mr. Min, a 65-year-old retiree, had always envisioned his retirement as a time of joy, family closeness, and a renewed sense of purpose. When he moved in with his eldest son's family in a bustling city, his heart brimmed with optimism. He imagined mornings spent with his grandchildren, evenings filled with lively family dinners, and a sense of belonging that would ease the solitude of his later years. However, the reality of multi-generational living unfolded differently, revealing challenges that tested his patience and understanding. Mr. Min quickly realized that his vision of familial harmony clashed with the fast-paced rhythm of his son's urban lifestyle. His son and daughter-in-law juggled demanding jobs, leaving little time for leisurely family moments. His grandchildren, absorbed in school and extracurricular activities, often seemed distant, their time consumed by schedules and screens. Mr. Min found the house too quiet during the day when everyone was away and overwhelming in the evenings as each family member retreated into their own worlds. The bustling city, with its constant noise and crowds, only amplified his feelings of isolation. Living under one roof also exposed stark differences in parenting styles and household habits. As a traditionalist, Mr. Min often felt compelled to intervene in how his grandchildren were raised. He believed in stricter discipline and structured routines, but his son and daughter-in-law leaned toward a more relaxed, modern approach. This difference, though subtle, led to frequent misunderstandings, from dietary preferences to television choices. Even small decisions became sources of tension. Mr. Min often felt like an outsider in a house that had its own established rhythm. Despite his son's assurances that he was welcome, Mr. Min couldn't shake the feeling that he was imposing on the family. He noticed how his presence sometimes disrupted their routines, and this awareness began to weigh heavily on him. After months of inner turmoil, Mr. Min made a difficult but necessary decision. He would move back to his small countryside home. The idea of leaving his family filled him with apprehension. He worried about loneliness and how his departure might be perceived. Yet, he also recognized that staying in an environment where he felt out of place was taking a toll on his emotional well-being. The move was bittersweet. His family expressed understanding and support, but farewells were tinged with guilt and sadness. Mr. Min left the city with mixed feelings, unsure of what awaited him in the solitude of his countryside home. Back in his familiar but empty house, Mr. Min faced the stark reality of loneliness. The once comforting silence of the countryside now felt oppressive. Without the daily bustle of family life, he grappled with feelings of abandonment and self-doubt. Initially, Mr. Min found himself reminiscing about his time with his grandchildren, missing even the small disagreements that had once frustrated him. The days stretched long, and his nights were restless with thoughts of regret. One day, a neighbor invited Mr. Min to join a meditation retreat at a nearby monastery. Skeptical but curious, he decided to attend. What he experienced during that retreat would transform his perspective on life and his understanding of happiness. At the monastery, Mr. Min was introduced to the principles of mindfulness and self-awareness. The monks emphasized a profound yet simple truth: happiness begins within. Mr. Min learned that clinging to his expectations of family life had been the root of much of his unhappiness. By releasing these attachments, he could embrace the present moment more fully. Through daily meditation and reflective practices, Mr. Min found a calmness that he had not felt in years. He began to appreciate the solitude of his countryside home, seeing it as a sanctuary rather than a prison. Mr. Min began to cultivate a small garden, finding solace in nurturing plants and watching them grow. He joined a local community group, where he connected with others who shared similar interests. These simple activities gave him a renewed sense of purpose and joy. As Mr. Min's inner peace grew, so did his relationships with his family. His newfound mindfulness allowed him to approach interactions with his children and grandchildren with greater patience and compassion. His family started visiting him on weekends, and these visits became a source of mutual joy. Freed from the strains of cohabitation, their time together was more meaningful and relaxed. Mr. Min's decision to live independently and his ability to find happiness on his own terms inspired his children. They admired his resilience and saw him not as someone needing care but as a source of wisdom and strength. Mr. Min's story is a testament to the transformative power of self-reliance and mindfulness. It illustrates that living apart from family doesn't have to mean disconnection or loneliness. It can be an opportunity for growth, self-discovery, and deeper connections. Happiness is an inside job. True happiness isn't dependent on external circumstances. whether it's living with family or being surrounded by others, comes from within, from embracing life as it is and finding joy in the present moment. Mr. Min's experience shows that balance is key to harmonious family relationships. By creating space for his own independence, he fostered a healthier dynamic with his children and grandchildren. Through mindfulness, Mr. Min learned to let go of expectations, appreciate what he had, and approach life with compassion and gratitude. These practices not only enriched his life but also deepened his connections with his loved ones. Mr. Min's journey resonates across generations, offering lessons for both elders and their families. For elders, independence isn't about isolation. It's about reclaiming control over one's life and finding fulfillment on one's own terms. For families, supporting aging parents doesn't always mean sharing a home. It means respecting their choices, encouraging their independence, and cherishing the time spent together. By embracing the principles of mindfulness and self-reliance, families can navigate the complexities of aging and relationships with greater understanding and harmony. Mr. Min's story reminds us that the path to peace often lies in finding balance within ourselves and with those we love. The question of whether elders should live close to their children or independently resonates with countless families across cultures and generations. As life expectancy increases and societal norms evolve, families face the challenge of balancing connection, independence, and mutual respect. This exploration delves into the complex interplay between tradition, modern realities, and Buddhist philosophy, illustrated through real-life experiences and timeless teachings. In many Eastern societies, family unity is a cornerstone of life. Elders living with their children is not merely a practical arrangement, but a deeply respected tradition reflecting cultural values of gratitude, filial piety, and shared responsibility. In countries like Vietnam, living together symbolizes a family's fortune and harmony. Elders act as spiritual guides, embodying the wisdom of past generations while offering stability and continuity. They are often consulted on decisions ranging from moral dilemmas to cultural traditions, ensuring that family values are preserved. Elders serve as teachers, mediators, and moral compasses. Their life experiences and stories enrich the younger generation's understanding of resilience, compassion, and cultural identity. Grandparents provide invaluable help with childcare, while adult children offer physical and financial assistance to their aging parents. This interdependence fosters a sense of purpose and mutual care. Daily interactions create opportunities for shared experiences and deeper understanding. Moments like shared meals, celebrations, and even mundane routines contribute to a strong familial connection that transcends generations. Modern realities. Should we live together or apart? 2.1. The challenges of modern multi-generational living. Despite the advantages, the fast-paced modern world presents significant challenges to the traditional model of living together. Elders may prefer a slower, more structured pace of life, while younger generations gravitate toward flexibility and independence. For example, grandparents might expect family dinners every night, while younger members prefer quick meals or eating out. Urbanization often means smaller living spaces, where cohabiting can feel crowded. Rising costs of living can also strain families trying to support multiple generations under one roof. Parents might feel they've lost control over their lives, while children may experience guilt or pressure as caregivers. This imbalance can lead to resentment, even in loving households. An increasing number of families are exploring the option of independent living for elders, which offers both parties freedom and the opportunity to foster healthier relationships. Seniors can maintain autonomy, choosing their routines and activities without feeling like a burden to their children. Physical distance helps prevent minor disagreements from escalating, allowing family members to approach one another with renewed appreciation during visits. Many seniors thrive in communities tailored to their needs, where they can engage in social and recreational activities with peers while receiving support as needed. Buddhist philosophy. Finding inner peace and compassion. The Buddha's wisdom. Each of us must walk our own path, speaks to the importance of independence. For elders, this doesn't mean rejecting familial ties, but embracing autonomy to foster personal tranquility and alleviate their children's responsibilities. Dependency often stems from a fear of loneliness or irrelevance. Buddhism encourages elders to release these fears and focus on self-discovery and mindfulness. Independence allows elders to cultivate hobbies, explore spirituality, or contribute to their communities, creating a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Compassion bridges generational divides, whether living together or apart. Approaching one another with empathy and understanding can heal even the deepest rifts. Simple gestures, like checking in regularly or offering small tokens of appreciation, foster closeness. Families thrive when members prioritize understanding over judgment. Buddhism teaches that forgiveness is vital in maintaining harmony. Letting go of past grievances allows relationships to flourish in the present. Life's impermanence is a central tenet of Buddhist philosophy. Understanding that circumstances, relationships, and even living arrangements will inevitably change allows families to adapt with grace. Mindfulness encourages us to cherish moments with loved ones without clinging to expectations. This approach reduces anxiety and deepens connections. Moving into a retirement community or downsizing doesn't signify loss. It's an opportunity to embrace new experiences and challenges with an open heart. Mr. Min's journey exemplifies the balance between independence and connection. A 65-year-old retiree, he moved in with his eldest son's family in hopes of finding joy in closeness. Instead, he discovered the difficulties of navigating different lifestyles and expectations. Mr. Min felt out of place in the bustling rhythm of his son's household, where work, school, and modern habits left little room for the traditional family time he cherished. Small disagreements over parenting styles and routines created tension. Returning to his countryside home, Mr. Min initially faced loneliness. However, a meditation retreat helped him embrace mindfulness and find contentment within himself. His renewed peace transformed his relationship with his family, making their visits more meaningful and harmonious. Every family's story is unique, and there is no universal answer to the question of living arrangements after 50. What matters most is finding a path that aligns with your values, brings joy, and honors the love that binds your family. If this video resonates with you, please give it a like and subscribe to Lotus Light Teachings for more inspiring content that combines practical wisdom with timeless spiritual insights. Together, let's continue this journey toward a life of balance, peace, and fulfillment.